say that death penalty cases can drag on for years, if not decades, making the families and the victims stuck in the pain. What we achieved today achieves certainty and finality, making sure that Mr. Kelly will never see the light of day, and also honoring what we have heard from many of the victims, which is they are ready to move on with their lives.
As you said in the beginning, this case didn't fit the death penalty case. No case. You don't know which case would. Do you think these families are satisfied with this plea?
Yes, I do believe they're satisfied. We've talked to them extensively. The trial team has talked to them extensively about this, and they are satisfied with the plea. As I said, it meets their desire to have this over with, to be able to move on with their lives, and we also know that Mr. Kelly will spend the rest of his life in prison. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank the trial team, Chris Laro and Devin Dennis, and the rest of the trial team did an excellent job on this case. This was an extremely complicated case. As you probably have already known, there were over 400 potential witnesses, 300 or more different types of videos, multiple locations. It was a lot of work, and the trial team did a good job of putting it all together and reaching what I think is a very effective and just settlement. I also wanted to mention that Mr. Aubrey Miller, who was the brother-in-law of victim Richard Clark, who was killed on that dark day, who you heard speak earlier in the courtroom, he's also here with me to show support for what has happened today.
Mr. Miller, if we could hear from you for a second.
Yes.
Obviously, what you said spoke to him. He got emotional as you were speaking. What did you feel as he began to speak back to you and all of the families?
The thing I was really looking at is the appearance of a life, a child. You know, I have watched over children for a mighty long time. And I just look at him by me being in the juvenile department, used to be a counselor and plus a probation officer. He was just one of them in that bush that I didn't get a chance to really relate to him before that time. And now I see, as I tell many of us, if you don't understand what you don't understand, it's like the Bible would tell us, all that I get understanding. And people say, what I need to understand? Well, he said in the Word, get understanding. And what the understanding is the Word of God. See, God blew breath into man, and he become the living soul. And everything in the soul of man is either the woman or the male or the others. So we have to look at telling me. But if you want that reassurance, he said, I've already sent my son, my only son. I sent him here to this place to dwell among you so that you will know and know that you know by observing him, because he came as an example.
And on the topic of understanding or not understanding, I will note that when I was speaking to some of the victims earlier, they wanted to understand why. Why did this happen? And unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever know for sure why this happened. This was a tragedy for Memphis on my first week on the job, actually. So we don't necessarily know why it happened, but one thing we do know for sure is that today, I think we achieved some justice.
My question to Mr. Miller, this is, Ezekiel kept saying, I don't have the words, but one thing we heard loud and clear is, I want forgiveness. Is that something that, are you extending?
Extend that, because I've been military. You're given a weapon to go out there to shoot an enemy that you don't know, and he may take you out before you know. So I kind of put it in perspective, police officers. You be out here, sometimes things happen to you. Just regular people walking the street. You got to be aware of what's in your heart. Always think of what's in your heart. That's the satanic move that you want to go out there to do something wrong, better talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to the Lord. Tell him, if you don't understand, that's the Lord. I don't understand why I'm here, what this happened. I can walk out that door and this be my last. I don't know, but I can comfort people with his word, because he said it in the word. He said it, my word will be a light unto your path, a lamp unto your feet, and never return to me, boy. So I don't have to worry about the one down here. It's the one that I don't see. I don't see.
Yeah.
Mr. Mulroy, what message does this send about any future cases that may come around?
Well, I mean, what I think it sends the message is that we're not tolerating any kind of violence, but particularly this kind of random violence which terrorized an entire city for 5 hours at least and put us on lockdown. I mean, when this type of violence occurs, there will be consequences. There will be accountability. And in this case, it's pretty serious accountability. We're talking about 3 consecutive life without parole sentences on top of an additional 221 years. We are doing everything we can possible within the bounds of the law to make sure that Mr. Kelly never sees the light of day after what has happened. So I think that's the message. The message is that violence won't be tolerated and there'll be consequences.
I know you ran on the standpoint of being against the death penalty.
Yes.
Do you feel differently now that you have prosecuted 2 that ended in plea deals?
I'm not sure that I feel differently. I think if I were a lawmaker, I would probably not support the death penalty, and there are very good reasons why I don't support the death penalty. But given the fact that the law in Tennessee does have a death penalty, and I'm charged with enforcing the law, then I need to make decisions about when it is appropriate to seek the death penalty. And as you mentioned earlier, at the time, when I made the announcement with Mr. Laro that we were seeking the death penalty, I said, if ever there was a case where it would be appropriate, it would be this one.
We are about a month away from marking 3 years since this incident. I know you had said that the family wanted to move on, or was ready to move on. What kind of timeline were we looking at for this case, like getting to trial and wrapping up at trial? Because I know there was a lot of evidence, you said
Sure.
hundreds of witnesses as well.
Because of all the evidence and all the locations, the trial prep was taking a long time. We had, excuse me, had the trial set for July of this year, but it got postponed yet again to next February. Assuming that it did take place on time, it would have taken a while. Even if we had gotten a conviction, and we're pretty confident we would have gotten a conviction, then there would have been an appeals process that would have dragged on for years. And then there's post-conviction remedies, which I think are important. They are essential. We have to have them, but they do take time. And that goes double, if not triple, for death penalty cases. The courts are very, very careful to give every opportunity to the defendant to raise any issues about either the conviction or the appropriateness of the penalty or any of those problems. So it is not at all uncommon for these death penalty appeals and post-convictions to last decades, in which there is no closure during that time. And so I think that explains why the families of the victims and the victims themselves felt that this was an appropriate resolution.
D.J. Mulroy, with it even just being so close to the trial, would you still say it's kind of an ideal outcome for him to have this change of heart and plead guilty?
An ideal outcome? From what perspective? I'm sorry.
Just versus taking it to trial, and like you were saying, how it goes through the appeals process.
Oh, yes. I mean, I do think so. First of all, it takes away any risk. There's certainty. We know for sure he will spend the rest of his life in prison. There's no doubt about that. It is final. It doesn't drag on for years and decades. It gives the families closure. It allows all of us to move on. So that's why I think this is a good outcome. And again, kudos to the trial team for the hard work they did in bringing this about. I guess that's it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Thank you, Mr. Mulroy.